Okay, metric system continued. Let's think about some examples. So 8 centimeters equals how many millimeters? And I'm going to write a couple so that you take the time to try them out yourself. 170 millimeters equals how many meters? 15 decameters equals how many decimeters? 764 millimeters equals how many kilometers? 17.2 hectometers equals how many centimeters? And 146 meters equals how many millimeters? So when we get something like this, how do we approach it? Well, the first thing you can do is on your paper, write the letters of the different units to help you out. So if you don't remember, King Henry died and mother didn't care much. Okay, and then we can also say that small to big, divide the pig, big to small, multiply all. So if we have 8 centimeters and we're doing millimeters, this is a green one. If we're doing 170 millimeters to meters, then this is a blue one. If we're doing decameters to decimeters, then this is a green one. If we're doing millimeters to kilometers, blue. Hectometers to centimeters, green. And meters to millimeters, green. Okay, so now that we've thought through that process, we can calculate based on how many jumps. So if we have centimeters to millimeters, that's 1 hop of 10. So our answer is going to be 10 times what it was already. And so we have 80. And you don't have to go through the whole thinking process each time, but it does help to get in the habit. Here, I'm going to be dividing by 100 because it's 1, 2, 3, sorry, 1,000. 1,000 because it's 3 hops. Okay, and how do I do that? Well, I go, if the decimal is here, 1, 2, 3 hops. So my answer then becomes 0.17. And we continue through the process. This is going to be a multiplication. In multiplication, when I'm moving my decimal place, I'm from here 1, 2 hops, and therefore I'm adding 1, 2 zeros. So my answer ends up being 1,500. Okay. The next one, it's a lot of traveling, and it is a division. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hops. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hops. So the answer is 0.000764. Don't assume that because a number is getting really small or really big that you're going in one direction or the other. You really have to look at it. A millimeter is the size of a hair, and a kilometer is like from the school all the way down to Monkland Street. If you have something the size of the hair, is there going to be a lot of those things inside a kilometer, a big long distance, or is it going to be a tiny, tiny piece of a kilometer? Well, a hair is a tiny, tiny piece of a kilometer. And even if it's not millimeters or kilometers, you can help get your direction by checking something like that that's so exaggerated that you understand what your operation is going to be. Okay, so 17.2 hectometers, we are going from big to small, so we multiply all, and we have 172,000, and the last one, 1, 2, 3 hops, 146,000. Make sure for word problems, or even just regular BEDMAS, that all units are the same before you start your calculations. Okay, because you can't add different units together as is. You have to have them as the same. So if I have 40 centimeters plus 500 millimeters plus 1 meter, I can't add that. So what do? I select either the most useful, and when is something useful? If there's another step that requires something specific. So that would be the most useful. Or the one that is easiest for you. You can convert again later if necessary. Okay, so let's say I decide I want to have millimeters. So I have 440 times 10 is 400 millimeters plus 500 millimeters is already in millimeters. And I know that there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter. So I can just write that. Now everything is in millimeters and I can add them in one step. And if you're having trouble for a word problem with the conversion, you can do it in your rough. Okay. Now if we take the same numbers and then make it into a word problem, the amount of lace needed is 40 centimeters, and then 500 millimeters, and then 1 meter. If lace costs 50 cents per meter, how much will the lace cost? So in this case, it makes more sense, even though the numbers are the same, it makes more sense to convert directly to meters because you have the price in meters. So in this case, even though same basic problem, you would say, okay, 40 centimeters is 0.4 meters. 500 millimeters is 0.5 meters, and 1 meter is 1 meter. So you have 1.9 meters, and then you multiply that by 0.5 or 50 cents per meter, and your answer is 95 cents. Again, if you preferred millimeters for some reason, you can do the addition like above in millimeters, get your answer in millimeters, and then change it into meters, and you end up with the same thing, but it works either way. But when you already have to convert it something, why would you want to convert twice?